Okay, today the agenda for today's session is we are going to start our discussion on Hdfs command. Shit. Kindly wait, man. Pad is not properly. Okay, today we are going to discuss about Hdfs commands. So, Hdfs commands are nothing but almost similar to your Linux commands. What are all the things that you do in Linux can be done on this Hadoop file system. You are aware of what is Hdfs. So, in terms of our Hadoop has been concerned, we have data stored in our data nodes. We'll be having multiple data nodes and all the hard disk associated with the data nodes. So, togetherly will form a logical file system called as Hadoop file system. Here, on top of it, we have a Linux file system. On top of Hadoop file system, we have our Linux file system. That is the base file system. So here the commands that we are executing in Linux also is applicable in HDFS also, but each and every command that you need to prefix with Hdfs. That's the difference. Okay, some specific commands are there for HDFS which we couldn't able to work with Linux. Okay, so we are going to discuss about those HDFS commands in today's session. But we first start with here. If you want to execute data stored in this HDFS, the only possible way here in terms of this is your HDFS. Here you contains your data. The only possible way is you want to write a map reduce code. Okay, so the map reduce code you can make use of the programming language, or you can make use of either the Hadoop components -p, Hadoop ecosystem components -p. Here, if you want to do a process on top of the data need to be brought into HDFS. All the data associated data need to be in your HDFS. The input data and processed output will be stored only in HDFS. And from that, usually what we'll do, we will have an interaction using this Linux file system only. So from the Linux file system, your data need to be moved into HDFS for processing. Then once the process has been over, the result will be stored in HDFS. And once, if you want the result to be copied to a local file system, you can make a copy to the local file system. So for all these sort of associations, you need to go up with these HDFS commands. Okay, we have certain commands. We are going to discuss about these commands one by one. Let's first start with a simple command, how to create a file and how to create. Straight away we can move to our practicals. I am going to launch a VM. Straight away we can make use of this VM for our practicals. ஹலோ, கிளாஸ்ல இருக்கேன் கோபால். என்ன சாயந்தரம் தான் ஹடூப் கிளாஸ் சாயந்தரம். ஓகே. Okay, here these are all some set of commands that we are going to discuss. But we first create a directory, make directory. You can't directly create a file here in HDFS, either by using editor like VI or by using command like cat. You can't able to create a file directly. You want to create a file in your local file system and you want to move the file into the HDFS. Okay. So for that we have a command called as copy from local. All are case sensitive. Wherever you have a capital letter, so in this case F and L are capital, all other remaining things small. So you want to create a file by using either the opposite command, and let me create a file cat greater than ram.text. Okay, so this file has been created. Assumed you have created this file under home/hadoop, and laterly you can move the file by using this copy from local command, okay, into this Hadoop file system. So similarly, if you have your file processed file in your Hadoop file system, let me assume that you have a folder by name user here, under which you have a file sample. Then if you want to copy the file from Hadoop file system into your local file system, the command is copy to local. So these are all the additional, these are all some commands which is additional, which you couldn't able to work with your normal Linux file system. Okay, so here.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah, sir. One question. When we open the, start up the virtual machine, the Linux, that OS is coming in a small window. How did you maximize that?
Similar to that of copy from local, you have another command called put. You can either make use of either put command or copy from local. Similar to that of copy to local, you have another command called get. Both the command are same. Put and get are same. Okay. So put is used to move the file, that is copy the file from your local file system into HDFS. The reverse is get. Similar to that of copy, you have another, if you want to move, you can make use of move from local and move to local. You know the difference between copy and move. Move from local and move to local. Copy will have a copy at both local file system as well as in the remote file system. Whereas move will have a content only on the one location. Okay, that is the difference between making use of copy and move. Just you make a note of this command. We will have a discussion of all these commands one by one. If you want to view the content of the file, the command is cat file name. The similar thing you can also work with in your HDFS also. You can also view the content of the file. Similarly, you can also make use of copy here. Okay, when you need to make use of copy, when you need to make use of copy from local. If this is your source file system, this is your destination file system. If a source file system is Linux, destination file system is also Linux, you can make use of copy command. If the source file system is HDFS and destination is also the same HDFS, in order to move a file from one HDFS to another HDFS, you can make use of copy. If source is Linux and destination is HDFS, if the two file systems, source and target file systems are different only, you need to make use of copy from local or copy to local. Just to make a note of when you can use copy, when you need to make use of copy from local or put or copy to local or get. So if The file system is same, then you can make use of copy. If the file system is different only, you need to make use of copy from local and copy to local. Let me create a file directly and let me view. Let me open a terminal. Okay, let me maximize this terminal. Now present working directory. Currently, I am in Hadoop. Okay. So here you can find ls command. It contains nothing. Let me create a file here. Cat greater than some file ram.txt file. Okay. So here I am having welcome to cloud, a simple file. Okay. Control D to save the file. Now let me check. We have this ram.txt file. Now, if you want to view what are all the files and directories present, the command is ls. Okay. So here, if you want to view the same thing in your Hadoop file system, the command is Hdfs. For that, your Hadoop file system need to be started. If you type, you want to start your servers. Okay. So now let me start our. Since I didn't copy using SCP, each and every time it is asking this password. Now name node, data node, secondary name node, job tracker and task tracker, everything is perfect. Now if I type ls, it shows that I am having this ram.txt which is in my local file system. Okay, if I want to view the file system associated with the HDFS, I can't able to view using any browser. So this is my file browser. You can find this ram.txt here. Similarly, I can't able to view using a browser. What I need to do here is if I want to.
Sir, one question.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah, sir. What did you mention about the asking password multiple times?
So asking password multiple times means while installing this Hadoop cluster, you need to generate the authorized underscore keys.
Okay, yeah.
SSH keygen, you will be typing SSH-keygen. At that time, ID underscore RSA.pub will be generated, and you want to
Yes.
copy the key under authorized underscore keys. If you doesn't do that, it will ask password each and every time. While starting each and every node, it will ask password.
Okay, but I did the same step, but when I started it now, it is asking me the same thing again, three
That means
times.
you have committed some error during that process. You may use
Okay.
sudo ssh-keygen. Else the location or the file that you have copied may be corrupted. That is the reason. If it is perfect, it won't ask any username password.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yes. Now, if you want to view the HDFS, the command is hadoop fs slash. Okay, hadoop fs slash. This is the command. So for that, you need to move into this location. Into the location, you can issue bin slash hadoop fs slash. ls is the list. You can find a folder by name slash home is created, which is your Hadoop file system. Okay, the command is bin slash hadoop fs-ls. Please make a note. If you have set a path to bin, you no need to go into that. Straight away in your command prompt itself, you can type Hadoop fs -ls is the command. Okay, here if you simply type ls, then it will list you all the files associated with your local file system. We can find these are all the files associated with the local file system. If you type Hadoop fs, if the command is prefixed with the Hadoop fs, it indicates that you are going to work with your Hadoop file system. That is the difference. Command is prefixed with this Hadoop fs, you are going to work with this Hadoop file system. That's the difference between going with.
Sir, why do we need to give the slash at the end?
We are specifying the root here. We are specifying
Okay.
root. If you simply specify ls, it will throw under which location it need to search for. That is the reason. You want to specify under root what are all the directories and files present. Now it shows only one directory by name that is present. If you want to look into the home, you simply press fsls home. Then under home, you have a Hadoop. These are all file systems associated with your Hdfs. You please make a note. You have your home directory. This is your home directory, present working directory, home/Hadoop. This is different. If you type this, this is your local file system. Here, if you issue this, this is your directory associated with your Hadoop file system. Okay. If a command is prefixed with Hadoop fs, you can find attempt data, everything here. Let me create now we have this ram.txt file. Okay, let me copy the ram.txt file under the following home location. Before that, let me check under home you have containing only Hadoop only. Okay, under home you have only this Hadoop folder only, so no other folder. So here what we are going to do, we are going to copy the file. If you want to copy ram.txt here, copy ram.txt to ram1.txt. Okay, so with both the thing is in same file system means you can use a cp. Now you can find ram.txt as well as ram1.txt. You have ram.txt and the copied file ram1.txt is present here. So here both source and target, this is your source, this is your target, both is in Linux file system. So if you want to make the same thing, if you want to copy ram.txt into your Hadoop file system, the command is Hadoop fs -copy f capital letter, copy from L capital letter, copy from local. You want to specify the file name, example ram.txt, then the destination path under root you have a folder by name home. Okay, simply type. Now you can make a check Hadoop fs -ls /home. If you find out, now ram.txt will be present here. This is the way by which you can use the copy from local command for copying a file which is in your local file system into your Hdfs. Please make a note. You can also use this put also. Put and get, just now we have discussed. What's the use of put? Put command is similar to copy from local command. Okay, you can make use of the same thing by using put also. So let me check. Instead of copy from local, I am going to copy ram1.txt. We have ram1.txt. Let me use put. Put. So Hadoop fs put ram1.txt into home. It is copied now. If you make a check ls-1, now you can find ram and ram1.txt. Okay. So either you can make use of copy from local or you can make use of put. Please make a note. So if you want to copy, let me create a directory and let me copy in the Hdfs. To create a directory in Hadoop file system, the command is Hadoop fs -mkdir under root, let me create a folder by name Raman. Yes, now you have, let me make a check here. Hadoop fs hyphen ls under root. If you make a check, you can find a folder by name Raman is created. Now the folder under Raman, we have nothing. Okay, Raman folder is empty. But we have something in our home. Under home, we have ram1.txt and ram.txt file. Let me copy this ram.txt file from the home folder of Hdfs into the Raman folder in Hdfs. In this case, both the source and target in Hdfs. And what is the command? The command you can make use of simple copy. Hadoop fs -cp under home. You have this ram.txt. The ram.txt need to be copied under Raman. Now it is copied. So initially, if you list for ram.txt, okay, Hadoop fs-ls raman.txt, it was found to be empty. Now, so Hadoop fs-ls home, you can find this item ram.txt. Now we have copied the command using a simple cp. We have not used copy from local. Also because since both the source and destination /home and /raman belongs to same file system. Now let me make a check. Hadoop ls hyphen raman. Okay, now you have raman folder containing ram.txt. Yes, this is the way by which, by making use of this copy from local or by simply using copy to copy the file across or within the same file system. Just make a note. So now let me use a move command. Okay, instead of copy, let me use move command. So let me move the ram1.txt from the home folder into Raman folder. So if you have a copy, both the folder will contain the same thing. If you use the move, initially you can find under home you have ram.txt and ram1.txt. Now we are going to move this ram1.txt into Raman. Let me check what happens here. Okay, Hadoop fs hyphen ls under home, it should list only ram.txt. Yes, good. Now if you issue the same thing under Raman, now Raman folder will contain both ram.txt as well as ram1.txt. Okay, this is the way by which you can make use of either copy or move according to your requirement. So if you want to create a file in your Hdfs, the command is, you can also create a file, Hadoop fs touch command, touchz. Touch, you want to specify the file name. Let me create Raman, under Raman, let me create a file sample. It creates a file. Okay, if you specify ls-raman, you can find you have a file by name sample.txt. A file will be created. The file of 0 length column can be created. Please make a note. If you want to create a file, you can't able to create a file using this cat command or vi command. You can create a file, but the file will be 0 size. You can't make use of cat command or vi command. Test, the command that you want to use is test. So here, if you want to create a file, simply you can create the file touch, file name f1. Here in your local file system, you can use the touch to create a file of 0 length. If you want to create a file of 0 length in your Hadoop file system, the command is touch. This question was asked in an interview for a Hadoop administrator. How to create an empty file in your Hadoop file system. You can't use a cat, you can't use vi, you can't use any other editor to create a file. The only way of creating a file is this way. Okay. Next command. Now we have a file. Now find that to have a, let me create a folder here. Make directory. Let me create another folder by name through here. Okay. So ls you can find a folder through here. Under through folder there is nothing. If you simply move into the through folder, cd through, and if you type ls, we have nothing here. What we are going to do now is we are going to copy the file from your hdfs into the through folder. Okay, the command is now you have in your hadoop fs -ls. So under home you have a file by name ram.txt. Now I am going to copy this ram.txt from your Hadoop file system into the normal file system, local file system, and to the folder through. What is the command? Okay, the command is Hadoop fs hyphen copy to local. You want to specify the file, where the file is. Under home, the file is ram.txt. Here the target is under home, under Hadoop, and you have a folder by name Thiru. Okay, this is the source. Under home ram.txt is in hdfs. This is the target. Under home Hadoop Thiru is in your local file system. Okay, now let me make it. Now it is copied. If you simply type ls slash home slash Hadoop slash Thiru, you can find the file ram.txt. This is the way by which you can make use of copy to local, or another command that you can use is get command. Both are similar command. Okay. So now we have discussed about the cat command. So if you want to view the content of the file, you can view the content of the file by simply typing cat. So for example, you are now in Thiru. Okay. Here in Thiru, we have ram.txt. If you view the content, simply cat ram.txt will list you the content of the file. If you want to view the content of the file, which is on Hadoop file system, the command is the same command, Hadoop fs hyphen cat. The file is under home slash ram.txt. Welcome to cloud. This is the way by which you can able to view the content of the file. We can also make use of another file here. In Thiru, let me create another file, cat greater than ram2.txt. Okay, welcome to Hadoop. Now you have cat ram.txt content, welcome to cloud, cat ram2.txt content, welcome to Hadoop. Now you can append the content of cat, that is ram2.txt, into ram.txt, which is present in your Hadoop file system. So if you view the content of Hadoop FS -cat slash home, under home we have ram.txt. The ram.txt now contains only welcome to cloud. Now what I am going to do, I am going to append the content of ram2.txt. ram2.txt contain welcome to Hadoop. ram2.txt is in your local file system. The content can be appended to this ram.txt, which is in your Hadoop file system. For that, the command is append to file. Hadoop fs hyphen append append to file. Hadoop first append to file. You want to specify the local source. RAM 2.txt to /home. The target file is ram.txt. So here the options commas will be copied into the MapReduce cluster. Okay. So this command work with MapReduce. Let me specify the full path here. /home /hadoop ram2.txt into home ram.txt. It supports the configuration files, only the files associated with the name node and job tracker. Please make a note. Ubuntu file. I will show this file now.
Sorry, sir. What do you mean?
You can, if you have a configuration file, so you just make a note of the command. I will show it to you with another example. You just make a note. Append to file is used to append the content of a file from your local file system into the file of your Hadoop file system. Just make a note. I will show you. And being it is a single node, it supports only the real distributed cluster. Okay, you can find copied to MapReduce clusters. It supports jar files, archive files, and files associated with. Being it is a single node, it is not working. Yes, you just make a note. What are all the things that we are discussing along with practical? You just make a note of it so that you can practice. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about this change mode and ownership. Let me find out the sizes of the file and directories now. By using du and dus, we are going to discuss about the following commands: disk usage, du, and detailed description. Disk usage, more information. Then the command is Hadoop fs hyphen du/home. You can find what are all the underlying files present in this Hadoop and how much of space that it is occupying. That information can disk usage. Du stands for disk usage. So if you get the same thing under home, if you have under Raman folder, then you can find Raman folder containing two files, ram.txt, and size of the file, everything will be listed. So the size occupied by a particular folder will be listed. So if it is root, you can find the root contain /home and Raman. If you want to get aggregated statistics, you want to simply put dus. Just look into the difference. Du will list you the individual files, each and every individual files that is present under the particular location. Disk usage will give you an aggregate value. Okay, so it will specify the total value. Here you have two folder containing files of size 55. So it will alone will be listed. Here, if you use this DUS in the opposite example, instead of DU Raman, if you specify DUS, you can find if it is DU Raman Hadoop FS, this usage for under the files associated with the Raman folder, you can find you have ram.txt, ram1.txt and sample.txt. If you specify DUS instance, it will list only one line. Okay, all the thing is aggregated and it will be displayed. That's the difference between DU and DUS. Another one, expunge. If you want to remove the trash, the command is Hadoop DFS, Hadoop FS -expunge. Expunge, if you delete something, it will be put into the trash folder. Okay, in the trash folder, the file will be occupied there in trash folder. If you don't want, and if you want to remove the file permanently, you want to get rid of the file from the trash folder. This is the command. Hadoop FS -expunge is the command. It is used to empty the trash folder. Please make a note. This command is also asked in the interview. Hadoop FS -expunge, which is used to clear the trash folder.
Sir, using expunge, we can delete a single file, or
No,
it's
no,
simply to empty the trash folder?
all the files in the trash will be deleted.
Okay. So what's the command to delete a single file?
It is you can't, if you want to remove a trash, you want to empty trash. That's all. You can't able to remove a single file in trash. Trash is a dump folder. When you delete a file, the command is rm. You know how to delete a file. Rm.
Okay, okay.
You create a file by name. AAA. That's AAA. Okay, ls AAA. Okay, if you want to remove the file, you can find the AAA. If you want to remove the file, simply rm AAA. That is the command to remove a file. Okay. If the file is removed, it will be present in the trash. Okay, it will be present in the trash. Okay, then in this case, similar to your bin folder, trash is similar to your bin folder. Okay, so here this trash is found to be empty. If you have the trash, similarly you have also have a trash in your Hadoop file system also. So if you want to clear the trash, the command is Hadoop FS -expunge. The
Okay,
dustbins.
sir. So harm will work in Hadoop as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Next, count. Next command is count. Hadoop FS -count /home/ram. You want to specify full path. What is the folder we have here? Now we can find count. will give you the following information. Count the number of directories, count the number of files and bytes under the path. So this is your path, HDFS path here. Equivalent HDFS under localhost, under the port number, under the folder. Under home, you have one folder by name Hadoop, and you have another file by name ram.txt. Okay. So the folder Hadoop contains how much? If you want to find out /Hadoop, you can find the folder Hadoop contains 4 files, I think so. Let me make a check. Hadoop fs -ls/4. You have temp data. Under that, you have a lot of things. Okay. Let me check up with what we have did. So Hadoop fs -ls. We have a folder by name Raman. It contains 3 things. Okay, 3 files. If you specify Hadoop fs -count, you can find it will list 3 files. Okay, one folder which contains 3 files. All the size of the file is 34. Number of files within a folder in HDFS. Count will list you number of files in a folder in your HDFS. First, it lists directory count. Being you have only one directory, it lists 1. Under that directory, how many files are there? We have 3 files: ram.txt, ram1.txt, and sample. Therefore, 3. And third one, the file size. All the 3 files, we have one file of 0 size. The remaining 2 files, 17, 17. These are all the file sizes. Therefore, it is listing the file size. That's all. Directory count, number of files in the directory, and space size occupied by the file. It will go give you much more. Q stands for quota. You can set a quota for your files. We will discuss quota laterly while discussing DFS admin command. Quota is used to restrict the particular user how much, what is the maximum storage space that can be assigned to a user. What is the maximum number of files and directories that user can able to create. Those sort of things can be restricted using a command called as set quota. We will discuss set quota laterly. If you want to find out the quota associated with this particular folder Raman, you want to use -q as an option along with count. You just make a note. Since there is no such quota has been set, the first is listing none, no quota. After setting the quota, you can find all those things. These first 4 informations are associated with quota. Since we have not discussed quota, it is listing none. Here, laterly, once you discuss quota command, if you want to get the quota information, count -q is the command. You just make a note. Now you can also make use of the above set command: change owner, change group, and chmod. These are all the 3 basic commands of chmod. First command is used to set permissions for files and directories, and owner, that is change owner, which is used to change the ownership of the file. Similarly, group, change group, which is used to change the group. So if you create a file, any file will have one owner and any file will have one primary group. It should be member of one primary group. It may or may not a member of secondary group. I think so at a maximum it may be a member in 15 secondary groups. Okay. So what is group? What is primary? What is secondary? That we are going to are all Linux commands. Okay. Let me imagine that the user by name Raman. So the Raman is working with this IT department. So the IT department is the primary group under which Raman is working. So he is taking a paper computer networks. The paper is coming for ECE as well as CSE also. So Raman can also take the paper by assigning to the ESE as well as CSE. So but the Raman's primary group is IT department. He belongs to IT. It is a primary. So these are all secondary groups. Okay, ECE and CSE are secondary groups to which Raman can be assigned. Okay, this is the way by which you can differentiate a primary and a secondary. Each and every user in a Linux or Unix need to be mandatorily a member on a primary group. So whether he is a member in secondary group or not is optional. If he can be a member up to maximum of 15 secondary groups. Okay, that is the constraint associated with secondary groups. In primary group, he can be a member in any one primary group. So initially, if Raman create a file, by name sample.txt, so being the sample.txt owner of the file is Raman, and the group to which the file belongs to, what is the primary group of the owner? So ID is the group to which the file belongs to. Now, if you want to change the ownership of the file to another user by name Arun, since imagine that Arun belongs to CSE department. So when you want to change the owner, then you need to use change owner command. From Raman to Arun, the file will be ownership of the file will be transferred. If you want to change the group, in this case, so Arun being it is belonging to CSE group, the file which is initially in IT group, if you want to move into this CSE group, you want to use the CH group command. So change owner and change group, which used to change the ownership as well as the group for a particular file. So you can issue this command, only 2% can issue the command. One, the root user, that is the administrator of the Linux or Unix can issue the command, changing the ownership of a file or changing the group. Else, the owner who created the file can change the ownership. These are all the two guys who can able to execute this command. You just make a note. This is the way by which you can ch1, ch group, you can change the owner and you can change the group. So, what is the use of this ch mode? So, it is used to set permissions. What are all the permissions that you can set? We have read permission, we have write permission, we have execute permission for a file. And in terms of owner has been concerned, if a file, we have the following, whether it is a file or it is a directory. In terms of Linux and Unix, we have the following permission: read, write, execute. These are all the three basic permissions. Read stands for R, write stands for W, execute stands for X. Then in terms of the owner has been concerned, we have three peoples. One is the owner of the file. Second, the group to which the owner belongs. Third one, other. Imagine this is the file. A sample is the name of the file, which is created by the owner Raman, and the owner belongs to the group IT. Okay, so we have other groups, ECE groups and CSE groups. So Anand is a member of ECE group, Arun is a member of CSE group. In this perspective, so the owner for the sample file is Raman. The group members, so in the same IT department, the another person by name Mala is working. Therefore, the group members are Mala. So let me imagine another guy So Harini is working here in IT department. So Mala and Harini are working in the IT department. So here the other members of the group are, so being out of this group, IT, you have Arun and Anand. These are all other members of the group. If you set a permission to a file, either a read permission or write permission or a execute permission, how you can set? Either you can set to a owner or you can set to a group. If you set a permission, read and write to group instance, all the member belonging to the group of the owner, that is here in this case the member Mala and Harini, will get the read and write execution. So if you want to set a permission others, read permission to other instance, Arun and Anand can able to only perform a read alone. You can't able to perform any other activity. So if you want to set a permission to a group or to a other, then all the members of the group will be assigned the same privilege. So if you want to set separately, you want to set this Arun read only, the Anand read and write only. In this sense, you want to go up with a concept called as ACL, access control list. Please make a note. So here our intention is not going up with the ACL, setting up a ACL. So it is the role of a Linux administrator. Here in our case, we are going to make use of how to set a permission using chmod. Okay, by using this command chmod, I will let you know how to set a read, write and execute permission. The same thing how you can able to do the same activity in your Hdfs also. That's all. Now let me create a file by name. Under you are now currently under home/Hadoop. Now Hadoop is the user. You are going to create a file. Let me make it as a sample file. Okay, and I am going to assign a permission, read, write, execute permission for the owner of the file, and I am going to assign read and write permission to the group members. I am going to assign read permission to other users. How to set this permission? You can set the permission using a octal notation. For read, the value is 4. For write, the value is 2. For execute, the value is 1. These are all the octal values. If you want to set all the permission, read, write, execute, then you want to replace the corresponding value. Now the value is 7. If you want to set read and write only, if you don't want to set execute permission, the value is 4 plus 2, that is equal to 6. If you want to set only read only alone, then 4, then plus 0 plus 0. Here you have only 6, 4. If you type ls-l, it will list you the permission for owner, the permission for group, and the permission for other users. Everything will be listed. Okay, if it lists 777, it indicates that the owner will have read, write, execute, the group is having read, write, execute, others is having read, write, execute. So if it lists as instead of 777, if it lists as 740 means now the owner is having all the permission, the group is having only read permission alone, since we have only 4 is assigned, and other, since nothing has been assigned, it is 0. So this is the way by which you can make use of ls-l command to check what are all the permissions assigned to a particular directory or to a file. And if you want to change the permission, you can make use of this chmod to change to set the permission. Now let me do this. Now ls. Now let me form ls f1, file f1. Okay, so it's just ls command will list only the name of the file. If you want to get more detailed description, ls-l f1. Now it shows the file containing the following permission. Okay, the first it represents the read and write permission for the owner, and the read and write permission for the group, and read permission for the other users. If there is no execute permission, then it is marked as hyphen. Here, see, being for other users, there is no write and execute permission. It is marked as hyphen hyphen. The first hyphen represents whether it is a file or directory. If it is directory, for example, it will be -d, ls-l. You can find the desktop is a directory, so you have D option. By looking into this first character itself, you can able to identify whether it is a directory or file. If it is a file, it will be here hyphen. If it is a directory, here it will be D. Then in for this directory, you can find the same set of permission. Okay, the first for the owner, first three for owner, all permission. And for the group members, read and execute permission. For other users, read and execute permission. Okay, so now we are going to set the permission. We have the following permission: ls-l for F1. Okay, ls-l for file F1. Now you have read, write, and read. What I am going to do, I am going to set all permissions for all users. The command is chmod. So you want to set permission. First permission is for owner, second permission is for group, and third permission is for others. Chmod 777 F1. Now if you type ls-l, you can find all the people will got all the permission. If you want to change, for example, for your owner alone, read. Okay, for all other users, read and write permission instance, then 4 plus 2, 6 and 6. That's all. If you set chmod 766, now you can find only read write permission given to the other users and to the group members. Okay, if you want the owner alone need to be given permission. All other person should not be given any permission. 700. That's all. 700. Now you can find ls-1 only read, write, execute has been assigned to owner. All other person will be denied this. This is the way by which you can set the permissions by using chmod. The same thing, if you want to set the permission, similar type of permission Hdfs, this command need to be prefixed with Hdfs. That's all. Hdfs example -ls under Raman to have some file. Okay, now you can find the ram.txt file contain read, write, read and read. Now I am going to set permission for ram.txt all permissions, read, write, execute like Hdfs. The command is chmod. The permission is 777 for under ram.txt file. Now the permission has been set. If you type ls-raman, now you can find the permission set is read, write, read, write, read, write. This is the default maximum permission. The execute permission can't be set here. Also because the Raman folder is not, if you simply -ls, you can find the Raman folder has been set only the read, write, execute permission alone for owner. For all other users, it is denied. That is it being it is belonged to another group, you can't able to set it. You just make a note. These are all the commands. Appropriately, whenever we need, we can make use of this command.
Sir, how can we know which all other group are there?
This is the group.
Okay.
If you simply type groups, you can find these are all the groups. We have Hadoop, we have ADF, we have CDRAM. Groups will list you what are all the groups currently present. These are all system groups. Only group that is created is Hadoop.
Okay. But this super group is not listed here.
Yeah, that super group belongs to HDFS, not on local file system.
Okay, okay.
This supergroup is a member of HDFS. Now we have discussed about cat, change group, change mode, change owner, copy from local, copy to local, how copy, disk usage, DUS, okay, expunge, LS, LSR, how to make a directory, move from local, move to local, put, get, move command, and remove, how to remove a file. Okay, now you have Hadoop FS, you have a file under Raman, you have ram.txt. How to remove ram.txt? Simply specify -r. Raman, under Raman, you specify the name of the file, ram.txt, to remove a file. The file will be removed. If you issue -ls Raman, now you can find ram.txt has been removed. If you want to remove the directory Raman, okay, what is the command? If you simply type rm, then if the directory is empty, then it will be removed. Being, for example, let me create a directory. Hadoop fs -mkdir. Let me create Anish. Okay, under root, let me create Anish. Now we can find Hadoop fs -ls. You have Anish. Anish is empty. If you want to remove Anish, the command is Hadoop fs -rm. Okay, under slash AANESX. So to remove a file, rm. To remove a directory, the command is rmr, recursive remover. Please make a note. Rmr will remove, recursive remover. Now you can find the directory has been removed. If you specify -ls, now you can find Anish, which is initially listed, was removed. Okay, rm and rmr are the two commands to remove a file and to remove a directory. The tail command will list you last kilobyte of the file. Tail command will list you the last kilobyte KBs of your file. That is, by default, it will list you the last 5 lines. Since the sample is an empty file, it doesn't list anything. This is used to list the last 5 lines. Another important command is set replica here. So the default, if you want to override a replica, so here in this case, if you want to set a replica, that by default for each and every block, Hadoop recommends you to go for minimum 3 replica. Where you set the replica for a block, we will be setting this replica in HDFS -site.xml. In this file, you will set the replica, the default. If you want to override, then it is 1, for example. Then all the files which we create in this Hadoop file system will have only one copy. You need to have a copy for two for a particular file. Let me make the file is ram.txt. For this file alone, you need to have two block copies instance. So here what command that you need to use here is set replica. Set replica is the command using which you can set the replica for a particular file only, which overrides the value that you have specified under hdfs sorry hdfs-site.html. The command is Hadoop file system hyphen set replica. You want to specify the number of replica hyphen w. If number of replica is 2, you want to specify the file under Raman. The file is ram.txt. Either you can specify a file or you can specify a folder. If it is a folder, all the files associated with the folder will be set the replica. If that is the case, you want to include another option, set replica hyphen capital letter R hyphen W2. That means it is recursive. Hyphen R stands for recursive. All the files and subdirectories associated with the Raman will have a two replica, block replica. So this is the way by which you can make use of this HDFS. We can perform the following activity. Okay. Stat stands for statistics. At what time it was created, those sort of statistics will be listed. So these are all the prominently used Hadoop commands. Okay, HDFS commands more frequently. Do you have any doubt? Anish?
No, sir. No doubt.
Ma'am? You
Yes, sir. Okay, I understand the commands.
okay, so we have additional commands also, but whenever there is a necessity, we can go up with this command. Okay, you can get into those additional commands from Hadoop Apache org, but these are all the commands that we will be making use of more frequently. So today I will share you all the associated commands and the documents associated with this. You can work up with this command. Ma'am, we can have a discussion on today evening after 9:30 p.m. IST. It will be morning for you. Okay, what is the
Yes,
problem
sir, sure.
associated with
Sure.
the system? We will resolve.
Yes, I'll
Sir, is it
download the TeamViewer and I'll discuss with you.
Yeah, yes. We can have the session
Sir,
for tomorrow for 2 hours, 8:30 to 10:30. Today, just now I have returned. I want to accommodate the second batch at 10:30. So here we can conclude the session for today.
sir,
Okay,
is there
sir.
a video is available for today, sir?